Hey cats, it's your midsole man, Eddbud here. There's one shoe in the arsenal that I've been meaning to test out over a longer distance. It's the plated training wonder from Nike, the Zoomfly 6. Big Al and I took these out for a half marathon long run in the tail end of a storm in December 2024. Some testing conditions, I hear you say. You ain't wrong. Here's what we found out. Thanks for tuning in, people. It is always appreciated. Do hit that subscribe button if you've not done so already. There's lots of you out there that aren't subscribed that are watching, so it'll be great. I'd really appreciate it, you know. Also, give this video a thumbs up, like, and drop us a comment to help with the YouTube algorithm. Dankeschön. Today, taking a look at one of my favourite shoes of the year, the Nike Zoomfly 6. A long run review. This is a shoe that I bought with my own cash, no freebies here. I've just hit over 100 kilometres in these. I am well on the way to 100 miles, so that review will be coming soon. How is this one holding up on the longer run? 13.1 miles, so took it up to the half marathon distance to see how it really feels. Upper wise, we had temperatures of around about 6 degrees out there. It was pretty chilly, and the wind made it feel like it was a bit below freezing at some sections, certainly when we are running into the wind, sort of north or northeast. I found the upper was absolutely fine for this type of weather. Had some decent socks on, but there's enough width inside the shoe that you don't feel too sort of constricted. Using the UYN Runners 5 socks gives a slightly better fit inside the shoe for me. I had no problems in terms of lace tension. Al did comment that he does find the laces do come untied sometimes. Does need to use a double knot, so do bear that in mind. I've been using a runner's knot when I've used the shoe. Haven't had any major issues so far. I think the tongue padding here is easily enough. They've got it in all the right places, down the middle of the tongue, and then it kind of flares out at the final eyelets. Gives some comfort there, and I've had no tongue slide whatsoever. Around about 8 minutes 30 per mile on the long run, 1 hour 47 out there. It was like a hard run to start due to the weather conditions really, but once I got going I didn't really want to stop. It was like the initial mile that was quite tough, but after that it just seemed to get easier and easier, so a little bit down to the shoe. So I think the Zoomfly 6 easily comfortable enough in the upper for like a half marathon, maybe even if you're going to take it up to like a long run, if you're doing marathon training, perhaps up to like 20 miles or something. There's not a second I ever felt any discomfort really in the upper. I do like the way that the heel flares back away from the Achilles. Just feels like there's a lot of range of motion here. Back around the ankle. Just barely really thought about the upper. It just kind of drifts away, and that's a sign of a good shoe. Midsole wise, both Al and I commented that the balance that they've got here in the foams just seems spot on. I think Al's used the Zoomfly 3, 4 and 5. He liked the 3 and the 4, but pretty much as with everybody else, the 5 was a bit of a dud. Wasn't really received well by either of us. I think I got rid of my pair ages ago. Now I'm finding the Zoomfly 6 closer to the original Zoomfly, or maybe even the Zoomfly Flyknit actually. So if you're a fan of that shoe, then write your letter to Santa now and hope that he delivers on Christmas Day. I do feel like there's a little bit more squash in this shoe though. I do like the fact that they've hollowed out the midfoot area here. It just allows for a little bit more Nova Blast like compression, sort of trampoline style. It's just a really comfortable shoe on foot, very forgiving, yet you've still got a little bit of pop from that plate when you need it. For that pace on the long run, it was hard to beat really. Never felt myself wishing I was wearing a different shoe, and again, that's a good sign that you got enough squash up front. The amount of ZoomX that you've got here under the SRO2 is absolutely spot on. Not that SRO2 foam is particularly firm or anything, I find it quite soft as well. Just seems to be a little bit more durable than ZoomX, and hence why they've put it on the bottom layer. Again, with the depth of the foam, even though in the sample size you've got like 42mm here, never feels like unstable at all. It's just like a really nice smooth operator. Very much like the nimble and exciting original Endorphin Speed. That's the shoe that everybody loved, but it seems to have evolved to be a slightly safer option really, with a bit more stability. Just lacks the fun of the initial version. Another great thing about this shoe in terms of the midsole is that they seem to have mastered putting ZoomX together with other foams. That was a bit of a problem really back in the Pegasus 35 Turbo. You got a lot of foam separation. I don't see any of that happening here in the Zoomfly 6, and that's a good sign. I'd say that this one is pretty much fine for everybody over the half marathon distance. If you're going to race in it, I think you'll be absolutely fine. You'll really enjoy yourself. Again, perhaps even a good option if you're doing those longer marathon training runs where you're throwing in a little bit of extra speed here and there. I didn't have any sign of fatigue whatsoever over this longer run. And that's saying something, considering that there was a fair amount of elevation too. We did aim for some hills. It's quite a testing one actually, a little bit further into the run. And you do feel the plate a little bit, certainly when you're going up those hills. It does give you a little extra push. Outsole wise, we had loads of debris to actually navigate around. It was post the storm and it was pretty serious stuff here in the UK. Bits of broken branches, we had all sorts of boggy areas where there was quite a bit of standing water. Even on wet grass as well, the shoe still performs. Just felt assured and the grip was spot on. These lugs really mean business and they work on varied terrain, and that is ideal if you're running in the UK. Nike seem to stick to their guns when it comes to that waffle outsole design. You've got small little pimples on the lugs. They're still here actually as we approach about 75 miles. It's working a treat for the English weather so far, and it's been a testing winter. I live in the southwest of the UK and I run on a lot of country roads, often tree covered as well, so they really do take the brunt of the storm. Lots of potential moisture out there and slippery sections, but I've had no issues with the Zoomfly 6. Some good toe off as well, even in some slippery sort of surfaces. Just means that they're a really good versatile shoe in terms of pace. You never feel like you can't, put the hammer down and increase the speed. So very satisfactory long run outing in these. It just ticks another box really for this one. Is going to be one of the shoes of 2024. In fact, Al was actually commenting he's probably going to pick up another pair of these because he loves them so much. I've got to be honest, I'm thinking about it too. So going to take these up to 100 miles. Should get there relatively soon, so watch out for that review before Christmas. I'm aiming for 1,800 miles this year. I think I've got like about 145 or so to go, so I'm on track. I may have to pull off like a marathon effort a little bit closer to the new year, but I'm gonna do it. All round, Al and I both agree that I think these are a good training and race option for many people. If you don't want to shell out the crazy money for some of the top tier shoes, then I think with the price point of these, they are a magic buy. Nimble enough at around 265 grams in the sample size. I got a wee bit more than that, but for a shoe with this amount of stack and this amount of comfort, I think it's a great price really. It's a really good value shoe. So definitely one of the most affordable performing plated options right now. I'm really glad I picked these up for review. Let me know your thoughts on the Zoomfly 6 so far. Have you picked up a pair? Are you hoping that there's going to be a pair under the tree at Christmas time? Perhaps they haven't lived up to your expectations so far. Let me know your thoughts and opinions on this one down in the comments. A real Christmas banger for the musical interlude today. From Julian Casablancas. I mean, that's a great name in itself. I wish it could be Christmas today. Loads of energy about this one. This is a real exuberant track. There's some driving drums and some fantastic sleigh bell sounds. Kind of sounds like a more high energy version of The Strokes, really. Perhaps he even, showed the guys that track. It didn't quite work out and he used it for his own album. There's such energy about the song and such drive. You can't help but really enjoy it. It's a bit weird. A lot of people know about this one. Seems to be one that's missed out on compilations and sort of like indie lists and stuff, but yeah, Julian Casablancas, who would know? Yeah, one of the best indie Christmas tracks of the last sort of 20 years. Well, there's not been many in fairness, but this is probably the best one. I Wish It Could Be Christmas Today by Julian Casablancas. Thanks for tuning in, people. It is always appreciated. Do hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up like. Drop us a comment as well to help with the YouTube algorithm. My name's Eddbud and I'll be seeing you